back, castmates. We're here with another episode of The Reality Right After, and I'm here with Miss Jacqueline Blake from The Real Housewives of Potomac. Welcome, Jacqueline. How are you feeling today? Happy to have you here.
I'm feeling amazing. I'm happy to be here with you. I've heard a lot about your show, and I watch you guys, and I love it.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. You've been doing pretty well so far on reality TV. Is this your first go around on reality TV? Because you seem like you're pretty comfortable.
This is my first time. I've never filmed. I've never done TV. I've never been in front of a camera. This was literally an organic experience. When people ask me, how did you end up on our hop? I tell them that it's literally by chance and by fate. Like I had no plans of ever doing this, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was definitely natural. It was definitely natural experience. Like it was not forced ever.
Right. That's why I'm like, whoa, is this really your first go around? Because you slid right in there. You started off, you're being yourself. You're being very open about your life. And I think that's what most Housewives fans love and appreciate, because we like to see that organicness. Although the Housewives have been around for so long and we see people come on, they've watched the show, they're well acquainted on how to behave, but you go right in. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are outside of the show, since we see you now on a few episodes?
Yes. So number one, I am a mom of two girls, Ava and Blakely. I'm just doing the regular mom stuff. I'm also a CEO of my company, Ava and Blakely Enterprises. And so my children are literally the pinnacle of my life. They are my drive. They are literally the reason why I do everything that I do. So in any given day, you'll see me literally at the grocery store with my kids, with my hair on top of my head, with no makeup on, or going to, the Gaylord with my kids ice skating, doing like mom groups, like with different friends and families. So I am literally just a regular mom and a professional. So yeah, that's essentially the basis of me.
Okay. And obviously we know you have a friend on the show. How did you first hear about the show, and how were you introduced to being on the show?
So I heard about the show just because Housewives of Potomac have been around for a long, we're literally in season 7. So it's been around, and I knew about the ladies. I knew that they were from the area. I watched a couple episodes of it. Honestly, I've always been a fan of Potomac, but I never was like a diehard fan where I'm watching every single thing. I really don't watch a lot of TV in general. So obviously Mia has been my best friend for 20 plus years. And that's where I heard about the show and actually lived the show through her and her experiences. And that's kind of how I organically showed up on the screen.
Okay, so you mentioned being best friends with Mia for over 20 years. Did Mia give you any warnings before coming on the show? And what were your first impressions of the ladies?
I've heard everything under the sun about the ladies from Mia, which I would never share because that's a conversation between her and I. But yeah, she gave me the nitty and gritty about every woman that she didn't like and the women that she did like. So obviously I gravitated to who she liked because she was my friend. So I wanted, everything she told me, I was like, oh, well, who is this? Oh, you suspect because Mia said you suspect, So I kind of already had my own, kind of not issues, but perceptions about the ladies. I didn't really go into it with a nasty attitude towards the people that she liked because I kind of wanted to get to know them organically, but I kind of, I had my distance against some of them because I was like, okay, you got a problem with Mia, then you got a problem with me, kind of thing.
I like that. You're a ride or die, and we obviously.
Oh yeah, I've been a ride or die since day one, and I've been very protective of Mia. I think a lot of people knew me more like a sister to Mia because we lived in the same house for years. We lived under the same roof as kids. We partied together. We had mutual boyfriends together. I mean, you name it, we've done it. So, that's kind of how, we had our personal conversations about the girls, and, I kind of had my, side eye with some.
Okay, and obviously we see that you were introduced on the show through Mia. How did she go about convincing you to be on the show, if she did at all?
So Mia never convinced me to be on the show. She more so was supportive of me going on to the show. I actually was recommended by another cast member, which is surprising. I would never name who that person is because I don't know if she really wants to be known, but
Mm.
I met her through Mia. She was already on the show. We hit it off. We had a lot in common. And she was like, I think you'd be great for TV. I think you'd be great for Housewives. And she liked the fact that we had a real relationship and it wasn't something fake or put together, fabricated.
Mhm.
She was like, you guys are real friends. And I really respect that. So I think she kind of put my name out there to the casting directors. And then from there, Mia gave like her stamp of approval to say, yeah, I think Jacqueline would be good, kind of thing.
Okay, that's nice to know that somebody else recognized who you were and saw fit for the show. So far, I've been enjoying that you've been standing on your ground and you call out certain things when you see it, which we'll get in later within the interview. But that's really nice to know. And I have a quick question for you. We
Mm-hmm.
saw that on your Instagram. You mentioned that this season was an eye opener and a true testimony to who has your best interest at heart. Who
Mm-hmm.
are you talking about?
We already know who we're talking about. I mean, it's no secret. Everybody's seen that, Mia blocked me on social media. We had a falling out, and you guys will see later as the episodes, show themselves. Who knows what we're going to see, because I'm watching it just like you all are watching it. And I found out a lot through filming with Mia. And it was definitely a true testimony of our relationship and the strength of our relationship, which I thought was stronger than what it ended up being.
Okay, and obviously, when our group here at the Reality Rundown came to Washington D.C. to your event, you gave us an exclusive that you and Mia were no longer friends. Do you have an update for us?
No, we're currently still no longer friends. And there's more to it outside of what you all will see on the cameras. I have had personal conversations and reached out to Mia directly, and we have had different issues that have spiraled, honestly, out of control. And we are not friends. We
Okay.
are definitely not friends.
Do you think the show had anything to do with that? And did you have any idea this was going to happen before signing up for the show?
Honestly, I didn't see it coming. I
Wow.
did not, I would never have seen this coming with a 10 feet pole.
Wow.
Like, I would have never thought that the person that I thought that I knew for 20 plus years would turn on me the way that she did. And it's been heartbreaking. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is my real life. Like, this isn't a joke. This isn't made up for TV or a storyline. This was my best friend. Like, my whole entire family knows this woman, from my mom to my dad, who's no longer alive, who's in the grave, to my sisters, to my nieces, to extended family members. Mia literally was next to me when my father passed away and took his last breath. Like, this is real life. And I think a lot of people, when they watch reality TV, they think this is just some fabricated storyline. For me, it wasn't. Like, this was somebody that I truly, genuinely cared about. So it's been, honestly, it's been heartbreaking. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie, it's been heartbreaking.
So you state that you were somewhat blindsided by how you and Mia's friendship transpired since being on the show. Do you feel like prior to your friendship over the last 20 years that any of this would have taken place? Because to be completely blindsided after signing up for the show, there had to be a little bit of animosity going on prior.
We had our little tits and tats where we would argue like sisters and, have little disagreements. And sometimes they were extra because Mia is genuinely an extra person and she's very particular about how things are ran and how things go in her space. And I understand that because that's who she's always been. And I've always given Mia grace because I understand her childhood trauma. And a lot of people, when you meet people in real time, in real life, and you don't really know what they've been through previously, you don't really give people that much grace. But for her, I always gave her grace because I kind of knew how, the woman that you all see today is not the woman that I met 20 years ago. I met a little girl, and I've seen her grow into this woman. So it's a different thing. I've given her grace, basically, like when she does these little weird things. And I'm like, okay, it's just Mia being Mia. There's a reason for that. There's issues behind that. And I'm just like, okay, she's just being who she is. I really know that it's probably not really coming from a bad place. Typically.
Okay. So we're going to move on to some more drama that's been taking place over the season. We're going to leave that friendship for you and Mia to hopefully reconcile. However, we want to start talking about what's been going on this season. Because at Family Fun Day, you mentioned your PP and, and how, you've managed to become great co-parenters. And I just wanted to know, how did you feel about how Robin went about not inviting Wendy to Family Fun Day, but wanting her kids there?
Honestly, I think that was, in a way, it was warranted for her not to invite Wendy and along with her kids. If you're not going to invite somebody because you have an issue with them, then just don't invite them or their children. Right. You know what I mean? I feel like if I'm going to invite somebody to a gathering or an event, the mother, the father, and the kids are a complete package. And if I have beef with that parent or that person, then they don't really need to be there. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to invite the children without their parent. That's weird. If I'm going to invite them, I'm going to invite them along with the parent. If I'm going to be the bigger person, I'm going to invite Wendy with her kids. It's either all or nothing.
Right. And did that make any of you guys feel uncomfortable? I mean, Karen was really outspoken about it, but what about you?
I wasn't bothered by it anyway because I love Robin and I respect whatever decision she wants to make. Like, it's her event. It's what she feels comfortable with. And if she doesn't want to invite somebody, she doesn't have to invite them. I get we're all a group of friends, but you can't always gel together. And if you have a private event, invite who you want to invite. I mean, it's nothing against the children. The issue is with the parent at the end of the day. I don't think the kids should have came by themselves because then that would have been weird. Like, their parents should be there. So either all or nothing.
Got it. So what do you think about Giselle and Ashley's alleged claims against Chris this season so far?
Alleged? I think that it was definitely a bit much. I think that from what I see, Ashley did try to pull Candace aside by herself to tell her what's going on. But when it's a group thing, I think that's ridiculous. Like, you don't need to make it a group ordeal, especially with something that private and personal. And I don't believe in messing with anybody's relationship or marriage. And if you're not 100% sure if the intention is bad, then don't even bring it up. I personally wouldn't be involved in any of that. Like, if a man gave me a pass, like if Chris did that to me, which I don't think he would ever do that because I really do believe that he's a nice guy, I would just leave it alone. Like, I wouldn't even want to create that drama or that rift within the group like that. Like, unless unless Candace was like my closest best friend, then yeah, we'll have a conversation. But other than that, like, people need to relax. Not every man is coming for you. Not everybody wants you.
Okay.
Chris has enough sense to be dealing with these type of women in this group. He knows they're all messy.
Right.
That man ain't stupid.
And speaking of messy, we get to the Miami trip this last episode, and things got a little heated in the MIA.
A little.
Obviously, we saw that you and Mia had a little bit of tiff because you forgot to go to CVS before the trip. However, how do you feel about what was going on within that scene and how it was prolonged, that you forgot your deodorant, your toothbrush, everything else?
Well, that's a lie. That's an exaggeration. I didn't forget everything. At the time I couldn't find my spray deodorant. I had it there. It was somewhere in my book bag or in my luggage somewhere. I just couldn't find it. And we're on a time crunch and I wanted to hurry up. But Mia is very OCD about everything as usual, which I know that about her. And she doesn't want to share. And that's just who she is. But I was kind of upset because I'm like, you want me to go walking around smelling like a barn or something? Like, that's not okay. And so it bothered me because I'm like, look, like we share everything. Like, stop acting like you're crazy right now. And then what really bothered me was that she had a whole conversation with Giselle and Robin about my toiletries. And it was never a whole list of toiletries. It was just the spray deodorant. And what's funny is Karen asked me literally right after I asked Mia about the spray deodorant, Karen was talking about she forgot her deodorant too. So friends share stuff all the time. And if I want to order a deodorant, I can order it if I wanted to. I can afford a deodorant. Like, she was tripping. And so so that's Mia. And I feel like she can say that to me, but bringing it to the group was ridiculous. Like, that to me, that was, okay, let me bash you and make my friend look like she's not prepared for this trip, which is very condescending and just not appropriate, in my opinion.
Okay, so do you feel like Mia was playing it up for the cameras?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we get to the dinner table, and Mia continues to be a little heated. And she gets into a whole entire alleged altercation with Wendy. How do you feel about what took place at the dinner table with the drink being thrown on Wendy, words going back and forth, Mia's purse connecting to Wendy's body? How do you feel about what took place?
I feel like it was definitely uncalled for. I feel like it went too far. I don't condone my friend or anybody, any woman embarking in a physical altercation. Like, we are all professional women. We have jobs, we have professions, we have children, and we don't need to be in that type of situation. I don't condone it at any means necessary. I do understand people do get upset and sometimes people make mistakes, but I didn't agree with it. And I did tell Mia that personally, 101, and she agreed. She did tell me how she felt horrible about what she did. But I wasn't going to embarrass her in front of a group of women. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, we'll talk, we'll have a conversation behind closed doors, but it wasn't the time for me to be like, oh no, Mia, why are you doing this? It just happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a place to, tell your friend what's wrong. But she knew that. She's a grown woman. She knows what's right and wrong.
Right. And after obviously watching the episode Beef is Served, and you saw Robin, Giselle, Ashley, and Karen, and Charisse actually have their opinions and taking certain sides, how do you feel about the women's reactions about what transpired between Wendy and Mia?
I feel like everybody has the women that they can't stand and dislike. And I think that some women may have been happy that she got a drink thrown on her and that she was embarrassed and, looked however she looked when the drink was thrown on her. And I feel like that was wrong. As a woman, I felt bad for Wendy because I feel like that was definitely not appropriate. And I would never, wish that on anybody. So I feel like even if you did have a negative opinion about Wendy, right is right and wrong is wrong. And I feel like some of the ladies probably should have just kept their opinions to themselves, even though they do dislike Wendy. But they could have said, hey, that was wrong. But I know I still don't like her. You know what I mean? Like, but don't make it seem or condone anything like that, because we are beautiful Black women, and we are on a platform where millions of people look at us, and we don't want to portray ourselves as that type of woman. You know what I mean?
Right. So
Yeah.
who would you say you're the most closest to on the show now that you've experienced it a few episodes in?
The women that I'm most close to
Yes.
right now, today.
Right. Today.
Today, I would say Karen Huger.
Karen is very sweet. She's definitely the people's faves and my fave as well.
She's
But
the people favorite, and she's such a classy woman, and she really does rise above, and she stood up and rose to the occasion. And, she's definitely somebody that, I'd love to talk to, and just has great advice.
great. And what would you say is so far your best experience on the show?
I would say the trips were actually, before things went down south, I feel like the trips were fun. And I was able to see women that do this every single day in their, it's a profession for them, and it's a talent, and very talented women. I respect them all in their own unique ways. And it was definitely a learning experience. And I enjoyed, all the good parts. I mean, there was definitely drama between me and I. I feel like if that never happened, I really would have had a great time as a friend of the show, because I came in to have fun and we were having a great time. You know what I mean?
Yes. And since you stated the best part of the show, what do you feel like your worst experience was?
You guys got to watch a few more episodes.
Can't give us a little sneak peek?
What, while we were filming? Or
Well,
just in
overall, what would you say your worst experience was?
I would say the low that Mia did. The Twitter post when she posted an alleged video of me.
Okay.
That was very low. And I think that was probably the worst thing that anybody has ever done in my entire life to me.
Okay. And what do you hope to get out of this experience after the season is done?
I would say I just hope to basically build better relationships and, get my business out there, my company, meet great people, elevate, empower more women. I'm going through a self-love journey. I've had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in my life. And I'm at a point where, I just want good people in my life. And I want this opportunity, I feel like, is elevating me on a platform that I can do, anything is possible at this point. Like, I just feel like the sky's the limit. And I feel like the platform definitely is an opportunity to kind of grow in whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's your business or whatever it is.
Okay, great. And I wanted to play a little game with you, Mia. It's super simple, super easy. I will say one of your castmates' name, and you will list one word that you describe them with. So let's start off with Ashley.
Okay, one word that describes her?
Yes.
I would say a ball of fun. Or that's okay. 2 words. Let's start over. Let's see, Ashley. Fun.
Great. And Candace?
Talented.
Giselle?
Messy.
Ooh. Wendy?
Intelligent.
Karen?
Classy.
Okay. Mia? Robin?
Robin, I'd say loyal.
Awesome. Oh, and let's not forget Charisse.
Charisse, I'd say a girl. Let me see. What would I say about Charisse? Relatable.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline, for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure talking with you. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Don't forget to stay in touch with us on all social media platforms. We'll be back here soon with your latest interviews and updates on The Real Housewives.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.